I'm seeing conversations about pricing of the Steam box, the GameCube. Now, I got to go ahead and say, people need not jump the gun. One thing that a lot of people need to take into consideration is, as Linus Tech Tips said in his analysis, one thing that Valve is more than likely going to do is price that device like a PC, just, so that they can maintain the integrity of, say, third party OEMs coming in and making the Steam boxes themselves. Now, this is going to be very interesting because you're going to see third party manufacturers actually do this stuff. They're going to bring the guns out. There's going to be all kinds of stuff as people lie to themselves and say that the Xbox Ally X is not an Xbox because Asus made it. You're going to see Lenovo make more of these devices. They've already made one. You're more than likely going to see maybe MSI or the others make dedicated Steam-based devices, right? Or SteamOS-based devices. So if that's what they want to do, or at least if anybody wants to actually attempt it, you got to price your components like PC components. I've also seen a lot of folk who are coming from the console side who are a little shocked at the pricing. You have to understand, PC hardware is hardly subsidized. Now, yes, individual components, they'll subsidize, but things like laptops and portable devices, no way. They don't subsidize those much because that's where they eat their bread and make their money. Many of these companies don't have the opportunity to upsell you, lock you in, or do all this stuff. So in the hardware business is where they actually do go ahead and make their bones or their bread. In the case of Valve, Good Old Games, now Xbox, and the other stores, Ubisoft, EA, and all others, they don't need to sell hardware. If you have a store that's actually thriving, if you have a store that makes sense, a store that has a unique value proposition, you don't need hardware to run those stores because people bring their own hardware to the plate. They don't have to wait for you. They don't have to go ahead and say, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this box to get in here." Steam is not depending its market on hardware. Now that I've said that to you, you can now take that and go figure out what the pricing would probably be when it comes down to this device coming out. I see Frittata. His name's so funny, bro. He says system RAM is too low to be a proper workstation. To be honest, I would not buy this as a work computer. Error, is who made the original post. But Fritanga is responding and said, then the original post says, wait, I just learned this thing is actually a literal PC too and can get Windows. So Valve alluded to it being priced more as a PC than a console. A company could buy a ton of these for office use if it's super cheap and never use Steam. I never use Steam to make back lost money, so I predict $650 now. Now, a company could use it for PCs, yes. But the IT department would faint before they allow that company go buy these devices for office devices. If you understand what I mean. Like if the IT department is like, okay, what are we doing here? We might as well buy covered warranty, or at least repair capable devices that we can batch repair, or send to, process centers to basically ensure that we can repair these devices if anything went wrong or if they needed something outside of our scope, or maybe we can't touch the warranty for a while. So these devices may not be I don't know. They may not be the best things to use as office PCs. Plus, any IT department that's savvy enough would say no. Heck no. I mean, that's literally unless they're giving the thing away for $350 or $400, if you get what I mean. Usually the IT departments, they make their choices based on what the workload is and what the expectations are, and what the company is actually focused on. So unless, maybe they're running, I don't know, man, they'd have to be running like the most basic things to actually buy these devices. And they're like, oh yeah, we're looking to buy computers. Why don't we go buy Steam machines and then now install Windows on them and then now buy Windows licenses? No, they'll just buy a Windows device that already comes with a lot of those things. So these are some of the challenges that you're going to have to go ahead and think about. Now, there might be the crazy IT department that's a one-off, that maybe they have like, a guy in it that's a gamer and he's like, hey, man, we have these cool devices that blah, 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 blah. I don't know, bro. I don't know how that's going to even fly. But when you look at, say, the way these devices have been coming out, some people are saying, these devices are no match for the consoles. They're not, a challenge in terms of a selling point and all that. And, honestly, y'all are kind of right in a sense, because these businesses like Valve and all the others, they've never really based their premise on being able to do all these things. You know what I mean? Like, they've never really said, hey, this is how we're going to make our bread. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it. So ideally, they're not in a hurry, so they'll price as they feel like they should. Someone wants a box like that. Trust me. FSR and all that stuff plugged to my TV and all, right? Is it me? Am I the target? I don't know. I don't think so. I've been trying for, a number of years to kind of like solve the living room issue, and I've been successful in doing it in the way that I prefer. The living room, in quote, issue is one that's basically made up by whoever wants it to be an issue. You can buy a console for the living room, or you can throw a whole PC in the whole freaking thing. I threw a whole PC at it. Put a wireless mouse and keyboard in my controller with rechargeable batteries, and bam, it solved the whole thing. I was like, wow, that actually solved it. And I've done it many times with different iterations, with different kinds of form factors, that now that Valve is now coming to the table and saying, hey, man, we can get you this stuff. I'm like, but I play FC25 on EA's app. Is Javelin Anti-Cheat going to let me play it? If the answer is no, that box is canceled. And then there are the people who play Fortnite. If they play Fortnite, canceled. They may play, Counter-Strike, but they would like to be able to play and switch back and forth from Counter-Strike to Fortnite. So if they can play Counter-Strike on it, sure, but if they can't play Fortnite on it, it's a no buy. You feel me? So this device is not a device that is necessarily out there for all of these concerns. I strongly believe that this device's main piece in terms of what it's pursuing is a target for developers to know exactly how they should. Listen, go ahead and develop and optimize their games that they want to put on Steam. Xbox is, I'm saying some people say this stuff, oh, blah, 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 blah. But you have to understand that the target is a big deal. But I'll talk about that in a whole separate video. I'm just looking at the pricing right now, and that's what, some people are talking about. Some people are pointing it out. They're saying, is it going to be $650? Is it going to be $500? Is it going to be $400 because of the low specs of the hardware? But the low specs of the hardware, ladies and gentlemen, that's not really the main issue here. But like I said, I digress. Talk to me in the comment section. Give me your predictions on what you think the pricing is going to look like for the Steam box, aka GameCube. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.